Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. This time, Domino Origins Explored. Domino is a character that appears in comic books produced by Marvel Comics under the name Nina Thurman. The persona is primarily known for being an X-Force mutant squad member. In X-Force, in March 1992, Domino made her debut full cover story cameo as a founding member of the Wild Pack squad, led by the genetically altered Cable. Domino was created by author Fabian Nicieza, as well as artist and co-writer Rob Liefeld. Domino is a gifted markswoman and fighter and has superhuman probability-altering abilities. She frequently employs her abilities as an assassin, but she has also served as Cable's love interest and confidant, a commander in his militant organization X-Force, and an X-Men member. Without further ado, let us explore the dark origins of Domino in our video today. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Domino.
What's your shtick?
I'm lucky.
That's not a superpower.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
The tragic origins of Domino. Domino was really created as part of Project Armageddon, a covert super soldier program, a top-secret government mating experiment designed to create the ultimate weapon. Dr. Rossini performed tests on her there, including one in which she was given a kitten she called Christmas. Domino was the sole test subject to live, but the project's objectives were not just met due to her luck power. Domino's birth mother abandoned her in the Church of the Sacred Heart in Chicago after kicking her out of the project. Domino finally got out of the church and started working as a mercenary. Later, while serving for the NSA, Domino was given the responsibility of protecting the brilliant Dr. Milo Thurman, whose prowess in analysis rendered him too hazardous for the authorities to let loose. Domino and Thurman eventually got married after falling in love. Thurman referred to Dom as Beatrice and had a fondness for Dante's Inferno. After an AIM attack on the facility, the two parted ways, with Milo thinking Domino was killed in the struggle. In New Mutants issue number 98, the Domino character first made an appearance. However, it was eventually discovered that Copycat, a mutant who had replaced Domino, was actually responsible for these early appearances. The genuine Domino was originally seen in a flashback scene in X-Force issue number 8, 1992, and then later in the present in X-Force issue number 11. Although Liefeld created her character persona, Mark Pacella really created the original Domino after she was introduced in X-Force 11. Some marvelous story arc of Domino. Domino, a mercenary, joins the Wild Pack, later known as the Six Pack, where she first encounters the mutant Cable. A businessman by the name of Tolliver is involved in a lot of their contract work. The crew is dispatched on several business espionage and retaliation operations. Domino typically serves as the witty scout and straight shooter. Despite the fact that Tolliver's contracts mainly involve international trade, the team nonetheless permits itself to enter into contracts abroad, one of which pertains to New Mexico to recover an energy fibrillator, something which Hydra had previously taken from AIM. The agreement turns out to be a deception, since the stolen device is flawed. The squad despises being exploited in this way, especially considering that they nearly got bombed, but the payment more than makes up for any animosity. Domino is nearest to Cable and Grizzly in the group. Cable ultimately convinces the squad to breach their agreement with Tolliver. Domino discovers a secret hatch as the Six Pack is conducting a regular operation to inspect an opium route. The Six Pack conducts an initial search, but Domino is eager to get the crew out as conditions start to become dangerous. Cable dismisses her and moves on to confront his adversary, Strife. The crew narrowly escapes being bombed again, but Tolliver is not happy that the Six-Pack violated protocol. Thus, they're now a target. Other mercenary organizations attempt to profit from the Six-Pack's deaths as a result of this breach of contract. The team is quite effectively pinned down in Singapore. Domino jumps beneath a bridge and detonates a bomb, eliminating every adversary. The squad is being hunted, but Cable doesn't seem to care as he leads them into one final battle with Strife. They break inside his base and detonate explosives to explode in a short while. Strife, on the other hand, shows up there and captures Kane before they can flee. Cable rejects Domino and Co's attempts to cooperate with Strife's requests. Strife departs the Six-Pack and perishes in the blast. Domino and the remainder of the team are left on their own as Cable teleports away. Thankfully, she, GW, and Grizzly are able to escape unscathed. For comrades Hammer and Kane, the same cannot be true. For several years after this, Domino and the members of the Six-Pack harbor resentment for Cable. the guest of Tolliver. Domino hides out for a bit, but Tolliver kidnaps her and replaces her with Copycat, a mutant shapeshifter. After assuming control of Professor X's squad of adolescent mutants, the New Mutants, and transforming them into the Rapid Response Task Force squad known as X-Force, Cable contacts a person he believes to be Domino to assist him in leading the team. While the original Domino hangs chained from Tolliver's wall, Copycat, still acting as Domino, responds to the call and becomes bonded to the group. When Cable finds out where Tolliver is hiding, he and Domino Copycat enter. When Cable recognizes the actual Domino, he's taken aback because he had no idea Copycat had stolen Domino's position. Domino is set free as a Deadpool sword cuts through her chains while Cable battles Deadpool. The woman shoots the mercenary in the back after picking up a gun. Copycat gets away. Then, while Cable and Domino pursue Tolliver, Cable tells Domino to look for his X-Force children. Then, after purportedly murdering Tolliver by blowing up his chopper, Cable body slides into the future. Searching for X-Force. The following months are devoted to Domino's search for X-Force. Her first task is to track down some former comrades. After Grizzly flees the X-Force Weapon Prime combat, she meets up with him in Australia. The three enter Department K after discovering Hammer in an effort to learn as much as they can about Cable and the location of X-Force. Hammer instructs Domino to spew all the information into his storage device because he has little time to comb through the numerous encryptions. A fresh squad of Weapon Prime overtakes the group as the download gets going. Hammer instructs them to exit via an air conditioning vent on the roof. It turns out to be a sewage pipe, and Grizzly enjoys making fun of Domino's new scent. They look for Copycat, as she possessed such confidential facts about X-Force using some of the data they learned from Department K. They discover her being held hostage by Sluggo and Deadpool. In return for information about X-Force's most recent hiding place, Copycat pleads for her life while Domino stealthily shoots the heck out of both mercenaries. The three-pack is led by Copycat to the former X-Force lair around the Adirondack Mountains. Domino makes a direct threat to murder Copycat after Grizzly reveals that he was there during the combat that destroyed this outpost. Domino is persuaded to be patient by Copycat, and together they use Grizzly's strength and magnesium strips to force themselves into the ancient base. They discover several machines that are amazingly still up, and Copycat discovers the mutagenic signatures of X-Force. After that, they're taken to Warpath's family former Camp Verde reserve in Arizona, which is now home to the new X-Force base. But instead of X-Force, they discover Cable. The six-pack is back together, although for a very, very short period of time, since GW, Bridge, and Kane are with Cable. The gang determines that even though they desire to be with each other again, they possibly can't if Cable continues to be secretive after Hammer starts threatening to murder Cable, but Kane talks him down. Since he's unable to guarantee otherwise, the six-pack and Domino leave. Domino heads the ground crew, while six-pack enters the NASA facility to steal a valuable item. Unfortunately, Nomad, who was hired to take the identical item, succeeds in doing so before six-pack. Before Domino and the six-pack can deliver the item to their contractor, Nomad manages to break the item that Domino managed to discover. Cable soon after invites Domino to join his squad formally. She does. Entering the X-Force. At the beginning of her time with X-Force, Domino finds things to be a bit awkward. The majority of the group can recall her from the moment Copycat impersonated her. She is an unknown entity. She is reassured by Cable that nothing will go wrong. Cable once begs Domino to go with him to Madeline Pryor's grave. When Mr. Sinister arrives, he reveals that Strife is a clone of Cable and that Madeline is actually Cable's mother. Sinister gives off a bad vibe, and Domino tries to kill him. Mr. Sinister only knocks out Domino as he extracts Strife's mentality from a dormant area of Cable's head. When she awakens, Cable has vanished. She travels to Professor Xavier's college and informs him, Jean Grey, and the Cyclops of Sinister's disclosures and the possibility that Strife is currently residing in Cable's body. They track down Cable, Strife, and persuade Strife to release Cable. When he does, Domino, Cable, and the X-Force rejoin. The Young Hunt. The X-Force members frequently go on vacation. However, Boomer and Cannonball being AWOL on the Guthrie clan farm causes trouble throughout the Child's Play storyline. When Cable and Domino speak with Cannonball's sister Paige, they discover that Sienna Blaze kidnapped their friends. After leaving Cable to think, Domino discovers Trevor Fitzroy, another bounty hunter. The squad quickly vanquishes him and they move on to confront the Games Master, the brains behind this sport of hunting young mutants. When they go to Switzerland, Domino sees Cable using telepathic abilities for the very first time. This finding is irrelevant because the squad is quickly beaten. However, Domino and the others are saved when the Games Master just plays another game. Going to Mexico. By traveling to Mexico with Richter and Cable so that Richter can determine whether there is anything that he can do to help his family, who are facing gun trafficking charges, Domino starts to forge a stronger bond with the group. Little can be done. Therefore, the group considers the trip a failure. Encountering Nimrod, Domino brings Shatterstar all the way to Hannigan Electronics, an associate of Strong Industries, after learning that the authorities are close to developing artificial intelligence that can exterminate all mutants from the planet. The two break inside the lab and discover two things. First, Martin Strong's body, and second, the intellect chip, which contains knowledge on the new AI. To eliminate any Nimrod-like models that might be being created, Domino and X-Force break into Camp Hayden in Kentucky. The venture is very far along than expected, and things go poorly. As Nimrod is revealed, X-Force is quickly defeated, leaving just Domino and Cable standing. Until Nimrod realizes that direct strikes on Domino are ineffective, Domino is capable of avoiding taking significant damage. In the end, Domino is killed when she avoids a missile, but a hidden conduit spewing scorching steam. Shatterstar saves her, and Domino directs a disorganized attempt to wrest a leg from Nimrod. When Nimrod turns off, thanks to some logic Cable provided, she's relieved and proposes that the crew leave before security shows up. Looking for the Morlocks. Despite their lengthy relationship, Cable and Domino ultimately plan to go on a date. When Cable mistakes some of Domino's tastes for copycats, Domino is less than amused, who had disguised Domino as a fellow with X-Force for quite some time. However, the timing is thrown off when Thorn appears and approaches Cable to ask for assistance in getting the Morlocks home from another reality. Along with Domino, the group spends the evening positioning mirrors in order to reflect the sun. The location is stunning. Domino acknowledges that she was able to have fun despite the project failing. The Dark Ride. Domino is charged with locating X-Force a new home after a temporary respite. In the most improbable of locations, Murder World, she discovers one. However, before X-Force departs, Domino travels with Cable all the way to Xavier's mansion to alert Storm about the probable reappearance of the Morlocks. The three discover Caliban after searching the Morlock tunnels. Additionally, they find out that Apocalypse's henchmen, the Dark Riders, are regrouping. Domino travels to Egypt with Cable to look for the Dark Riders. Domino discovers them and sees Cable's son admit that he's the future heir to Apocalypse. When Cable gives himself up to his child, Domino sends Caliban and Storm an undercover operation to sneak into the Dark Rider facility and kill guards before they can rescue Cable and take down the base. Resettling X-Force. When Domino returns from Egypt, she formally welcomes the X-Force to their new place in Murder World. Even though New York's nightlife is nearby, the technology is cutting edge, and training is easily accessible, it requires some convincing before everyone accepts the location. However, before too much can happen, Domino travels with the X-Force to the Bronx, wherein there's a chance of detaining Feral, a former comrade for the death of Domino's family. Domino positions herself as a sniper outside Feral and Thorn's former home, in case things don't work out with Feral. Domino repeatedly tells Cable that she does have a chance, but she is warned to back off. Fortunately, Feral is defeated and few people die as a result. Quest for Legion. Domino goes with Cable when Professor Xavier summons him to the Israeli desert known as the Negev. They discover that because Legion went back in time to change a crucial moment in history, the reality is in jeopardy. Domino makes an effort to keep things lighthearted, but she ultimately gives in to her love for Cable, and the two kiss before reality is upended. After reuniting with X-Force, Domino goes to Mexico with Shatterstar, Cable, and Richter to spend some time alone. She then assists Shatterstar and Cable in dispersing a rabble that is protesting the presence of the Genosha. The Grisly Tragedy. When Domino learns that a serial murderer is operating in Colorado, one of the worst disasters of her life occurs. She's certain that her former teammate and buddy Grizzly is implicated after seeing the proof. She departs from X-Force and finds the killer, learning that Genesis, Cable's son, controls him. Grizzly urges Domino to kill him in order to free himself. Then she buries one of her few remaining buddies. Adventure with other timelines. Domino, who had just laid Grizzly to rest, is dispatched into the future to assist Cable on a mission. By securing the Professor from Strife, she aids the clan chosen in saving the adolescent Cable, Nathan Dayspring. She observes Cable's mixed emotions as she continues to expose him to Jenscott, his prospective wife, whom he buried. The Sugar Man, and Genosha. Mr. Sinister changes their route as he and Cable go back in time, landing them in Genosha. Jennifer Ransom and Philip Moreau, two key figures in the uprising against the Genoshan leadership, welcome them. Domino is only interested in leaving, or at the absolute least, getting in touch with X-Force to inform them of the situation. She receives rejection on both grounds. After helping Cable battle the Genoshan magistrates, Domino travels with him to the Ridgeback Mountains, where they run upon the Sugar Man, the being in charge of the mutant bonding process. Mr. Sinister appears to commend them for their assistance and sends them on their way when the crisis is resolved. The Aftermath and Krakoa. Domino travels with X-Force to an island getaway where they briefly run across the Impossible Man and his children. X-Force leaves for a night out on the town after arriving home, but goes missing. Cable is joined in the quest for the squad by Domino. It appears clear that Lady Tessa, Holocaust, and Sebastian Shaw have taken control of the squad. The two put up a brave battle, but when Domino goes up against Shatterstar by herself, she gets stabbed in the shoulder. Cable quickly puts everything in order and makes sure Domino receives the attention she requires. The Onslaught. Once healed, Domino goes to Camp Hayden with Meltdown as well as Siren to inquire for information on the Nimrod project. They're taken aback to see that it now seems utterly empty. The word Onslaught graffiti painted on the walls is the sole sign of peril. An enhanced Blob arrives and threatens the women, but a time bomb kills Meltdown and Blob promises to tell them about the latest events at Camp Hayden. But the Mimic appears and takes off with the Blob, warning that Onslaught won't be happy. Later, Domino goes to Camp Hayden with Cable to demonstrate the Onslaught gear, but they encounter fierce opposition and narrowly escape. When Onslaught emerges, Domino commands X-Force to defend Nate Gray. Nate hesitates to accept Domino's assistance because her equivalent in Nate's world, in the Age of Apocalypse, is a murderous psychopath. Domino tries to blow up a portion of the house after Mr. Sinister's assaults, but to absolutely no avail. The entire crew is subdued by Mr. Sinister, who has too much power. Domino awakens alongside the group to discover that Cable has returned and the Onslaught danger has been eliminated. Heading the X-Force. Domino continues to be the leader of X-Force as Cable takes many leaves of absence. On one mission, she looks for Shinobi Shaw, who wants to get the upper hand by eradicating the X gene from mutants. Due to Mind Meld's ability to implant Caliban with Domino's consciousness, the X-Force strike is unsuccessful. But she also observes that Clear Cut, a different Shinobi mercenary, has hidden a key on Domino's dead body. When Mind Meld becomes preoccupied, Domino's consciousness re-enters her body, releasing her and the others from their restraints. Later, Domino launches an assault on Shinobi's lab that successfully brings down the entire Enterprise. Operation Zero Tolerance. Later, Domino found herself in some problems during Operation Zero Tolerance when she was taken in and had her abilities altered. A lady she had worked with previously had come to get revenge on her, which led Domino down a winding road that soured her sense of humor and attitude. Her abilities were suppressed and her skull was shaved. Before Jesse Bedlam, as well as his skills, boosted them, she had no recourse to them. She left Cable as well as X-Force after losing her abilities, although she later returned. The X Corporation. Domino enlisted in the X Corporation, a search and rescue group for mutants, when X-Force was permanently disbanded. She was working for the organization's Japanese division and shortly contacted the new X-Men in Japan on a mission. The mutant identified as Zorn was encountered by Domino as well as the new X-Men while on this assignment. When S.H.I.E.L.D., a government organization, approached Domino and requested her to lead a newly created six-pack, Domino quit the X Corporation. She was given the assignment to look into Deadpool's involvement in Cable's operation on his Paradise Island, where she was with the current six-pack. Despite having been told to apprehend the two, the expedition was abandoned. The M-Day. After M-Day, when most of the mutants lost their abilities, Domino and her old X-Force partner Shatterstar freed the 198 mutants who had been detained in a refugee camp for their own protection from the outside world. When the majority of the Six-Pack's members were taken prisoner and sent to Rumekistan, she abandoned the group and accompanied Cable in Providence, where they remained until a fight with the Hecatomb destroyed the island, as well as Cable was thought to be dead. Later, she was enlisted to help catch the Punisher, together with Silver Sable, along with the Contessa. Nevertheless, Domino was the only one to maintain his innocence until everyone witnessed the Imposter killing innocent bystanders. Rejoining X-Men and X-Force. Domino enlisted in the new X-Force, a mutant Black Ops unit led by Wolverine that is equipped to employ whatever means necessary, including fatal force, to preventatively deal with dangers that would be too risky or shady for the X-Men to handle. The team is currently getting ready to cope with the Messiah War after finding and extorting the Vanquisher who stole a sample of the Legacy virus. Then, Wolverine requests Domino to make a stop at a Japanese cemetery to bring flowers to a loved one who has passed away. She discovers Chimera, Spiral, and Lady Deathstrike there, with Quanon's remains dug up. She strikes Chimera after a brief struggle, and the two ladies teleport away with Quanon's body. Later, Domino takes Jean Grey's place in order to prevent the Red Queen from using it as the host. While Domino embarks on a mission, she unintentionally learns the Red Hulk's true identity and is subsequently designated for execution by him. Rulk receives a list of hired guns from Thunderbolt Ross and Samson, who give him just 24 hours to find her. The Punisher, Deadpool, Elektra, and Thunderer are some of the names on the list. Domino is then discovered hiding at a bar. The X-Force members are all present in the pub as the party comes to pick Domino up. The X-Force and Domino were able to get away from the confrontation. At Silver Sable's mansion, where Domino and Wolverine later encounter the Red Hulk as well as Elektra, Elektra coerces Silver Sable to admit that Domino was positioned to take the place of the Red Hulk, Doc Samson, by fabricating information as part of an AIM front. Despite Domino's claims that she wasn't sure of the thing she saw, the Red Hulk insists that it doesn't matter and threatens her with blackmail if she doesn't reveal his identity, because the state is looking for a reason to eliminate all mutants, and all it would take is for X-Force, a mutant strike force, to get the word out. When they come to a decision, Domino is fired. The Second Coming. In Second Coming, Domino journeys to the future alongside the X-Force and Cable in an attempt to change Nimrod's software and prevent them from going back in time to eliminate all the mutants that were gathered in Utopia as a result of the Bastion's war against the X-Men and Hope. She eventually faces a Sentinel with X-Force, but Cypher is able to stop it by rewriting the code. Then she goes back to the present. War and Love. Domino arrives at the X-Force's headquarters, battered, and asks Elixir to cure her, but Wolverine won't release him until she explains what's happening. Domino says she accepted an assignment from the Assassin's Guild that required facing the Hand. Domino, however, learned that the Hand was trading young women while on the assignment, so she saved them, as well as left the assassins who were with her to perish. The guild that pursued her became enraged about this. Wolverine chooses to support Domino's efforts to make things right. Domino reveals to Wolverine that she has been drawn to him since the X-Force's most recent mission to Japan. They crash before Wolverine can respond after being hit in the head. Following their engagement with some assassins, they kiss each other. An enraged Razor Fist, leading other assassins, interrupts them by yelling, "Where is the money?" to Domino. When he expresses confusion over this, Domino assures Wolverine that she'll clarify everything once they deal with the ambush. After they deal with Razor Fist, Domino says that she drove the ladies to a Japanese embassy in a vehicle she stole from the Hand's camp and discovered there were millions of dollars in it when she arrived. She handed each lady $1 million and pocketed the remainder. Having seen all the money, Wolverine is in amazement as she brings him to the vehicle in the warehouse. After that, they had sex in a hotel room. Bushwhacker pursues Domino, but they're able to stop him. Then they take a flight to New Orleans to transfer the funds.
I'm lucky.
That's not a superpower.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Interesting facts about luckiest mercenary Domino. In the year 2000, Robert Weinberg had authored 80 or so issues of Cable's solo run where he was given the difficult task of extracting a galactic parasite from Domino. Aintharos, an extraterrestrial energy creature known as an Undying, took up residence in Domino to utilize her talents for assassination. Randall Shire, also under the control of an Undying named Semijan, was someone Aintharos wanted to murder. It is an entire thing. Naturally, Cable assists Domino and directs the undead to spend their time being cockroaches. Many dubious government initiatives have their roots in Captain America's first super soldier serum. Project Armageddon was one of the many initiatives that emerged following the popularity of Captain America. Project Armageddon, a particularly evil iteration of the super soldier program, involved the use of a mutant lady as a surrogate mother to give birth to offspring who would later be trained as super soldiers. Domino was the solitary survivor of these trials, unlike most nuclear experiments where she spent most of her youth being experimented on. Later, she learned that the tests were still being conducted and that she also had a stepbrother called Lazarus. It would be foolish to attempt to enumerate the instances in which Domino has triumphed over the odds. Having said that, she hasn't always triumphed. She was actually slain once while being pursued by the assassin Marcus Sung. But if luck is on your side, what good is death? A little while later, she awakens on the post-mortem table with a techno-organic symbiote mending and a whole, pun intended, lot of questions, so it appears that nothing happened. There are many advantages to growing up in a caring and nurturing environment, such as a government-funded institution in Florida built to create super soldier kids. However, one thing that you'll most definitely not receive is a name. Domino didn't have a name for a very long time that she hadn't thought up herself. Before she encountered Dr. Milo Thurman, the one who gave her the name Beatrice in honor of the figure from Dante's Inferno, she had no idea what it meant. Soon after, the two would fall in love, and Domino would adopt both the moniker he had given her and Milo Milo Thurman's last name. First off, read House of M if you haven't already. Next, spoilers. What you ought to know is as follows. The Scarlet Witch, also known as Wanda Maximoff, is everything but a model of mental health. She is actually so enraged that she wonders maybe if all of the mutants were eliminated, the world might be a fairly cool place. And afterwards, she simply does it, dude. Just like a sneeze. Only 198 mutants remain on the planet after the rest of the mutant population has lost their abilities. Who, in your opinion, was fortunate enough to maintain their mutant abilities? Domino is the one and only.
Dead in a second.
And Domino. And Doubtful.
What makes Domino so powerful? Domino is a strong mutant with the power to subtly and psionically trigger arbitrary kinetic phenomena that shift the odds in her favor by forcing unlikely, but not impossible, events to take place in her line of sight, giving her good luck and her adversaries bad luck. This phenomenon can take many different forms, such as an enemy's equipment failing or a shot accidentally striking the proper button to shut off a nuclear reactor that was becoming overloaded. Her ability's full potential is still a mystery. When she is in a difficult circumstance, her subconsciously controlled skill manifests, such as escaping or fighting. She continually and utterly unconsciously produces this impression from her body. Although it's primarily interactive, Domino must do an activity whose chance she may influence for the charm to work. She would still suffer harm if she remained motionless. For instance, if a piece of debris that fell from above was going to strike her in the head. She could, however, move flawlessly to deflect every piece that was going to strike her if she sought to avoid them. Domino would also be a dead body covered in bullets if she were to stand in front of a hail of them. Instead, she has to take action. In doing so, she'll mysteriously bob and weave exactly so as to miss every single shot while attempting to flee the gunfire. In her normal state, Domino is unable to manage her power consciously. The sole way to use it is to place herself in danger. She spent years honing her cognitive abilities over her talent, and lately, she demonstrated the benefits of her training by causing a lightning strike to destroy 2 sentinels. As a result of her probability powers, Domino's brain cortex discharges a stream of bioelectric pulses right down her spine to intuitively direct her motions under such circumstances, which also boosts her innate agility and reflexes to nearly superhuman levels. Nina is an expert at effortlessly hitting her targets, and she occasionally employs probability manipulation to produce impossibly accurate shots. Nina assassinates her targets by employing her martial arts expertise, improved reflexes and agility, and marksmanship. Nina is an expert in several key martial arts and hand-to-hand fighting methods. Nina performs challenging acrobatic feats effortlessly because of her improved agility. However, Domino suffers from electrophobia, a paralyzing dread of chickens. The many rifles and knives that Domino uses, as well as a staff that may be employed for balance when leaping and has sensors, are among her arsenal of weaponry.
Got involved. We're not the ones who picked this fight, Rogue. We're just standing up for ourselves.
Marvelous appearances of Domino in other media. Domino made an appearance in the X-Men The Animated Series episode Slave Island as one of the mutants who was disabled by a device that stopped them from using their talents. The X-Men were able to smash the gadget and utilize their abilities against the device's ruler, thanks to their efforts. She additionally made cameos in other episodes. Jennifer Dale provided her voice. Domino is a Brotherhood of Mutants member who rescued Toad from the MRD in Wolverine and the X-Men. She also apologizes to Rogue for the trouble Toad caused her. Later, she convinced Rogue to ally with the Brotherhood. She requested Rogue to access Warren Worthington Jr.'s recollections, so she might learn Kelly's whereabouts during most of the Brotherhood's plan to assassinate the Senator. Gwendoline Yeoh, who previously played Wolverine in the animated X-Men series, reprises her role as Domino in the video game Deadpool 360 PS3. She is an X-Men member in the game, and she initially appears with Psylocke when they both help Deadpool get up after Blockbuster, one of Mr. Sinister's thugs, knocks him down. She travels to Genosha with the other X-Men in order to defeat Sinister, but Deadpool crashes the Blackbird, knocking her unconscious. She can be last seen during the game's finale when Deadpool fights Sinister. Domino is a prized character in Marvel Avengers Alliance and debuted as a playable character in PvP Tournament Season 12. At the conclusion of PvP Tournament Season 13, she's no longer permanently playable. According to her biography, Domino was one of only 2 people to survive the genetic modification procedure while participating in a top-secret government mating study. She transformed into the assassin known as Domino after being set free by a religious sect known as the Armage Suits. Her proficiency with weapons and her mutant ability to manipulate chance combined to produce a lethal combo.
Guys, how about you let the ladies have a moment?
We got nothing to
Marvelous verdict. She may occasionally come out as caustic, greedy, and selfish, but she has a decent heart and cares deeply about her family and friends. Her charitable deeds are somewhat dubious. Often she steals items to give to the people she loves as gifts rather than purchasing or producing them, like when she stole a vehicle for Wolverine. She obviously does not get along well with the rest of the superheroes, especially the Avengers, and when she's with them, she just maintains a humorous deadpan expression the entire time. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.